Dude, I have not pooped my pants in a long time. Is what I would say until about 5 minutes ago. The light of my life. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Full Circus. My name is Tristan Sartor, so happy to be here with you guys today. See, we go up and we go down, trying to simulate the kind of essence of this podcast. There will be highs, there will be lows, rest assured, but just stick with us, okay? It can only get worse, but that's fine. Experience that. There's no true rock bottom to conversation, and I intend to prove that by only going lower. But occasionally, we will spike. But anyways, I'm happy to be back again, as always. And we are ahead of the game. Okay, this is technically the first episode into the future, where we are speaking about what may or may not be happening as I try and rearrange some little kinks, quirks, and hiccups, and you know, what have you. I realize the more and more I say that, and the many times I build that up higher and higher, that I'm like, I don't know if it's really going to be that big of a change. You know, I was thinking about a new theme song, and now I feel like I just got to do that. I feel like it's got to be some sort of new intro. There's got to be some sort of extra pizzazz instead of me just tweaking this light to the side and going, well, was that worth the 6 weeks of effort? Was that worth it, us not kind of being caught up in the loop? So it'll be very interesting. I feel like it's putting pressure on me to make some kind of grand things, but the whole joke was that I really just wanted to tweak the camera settings, which I could have done before this. It's not like I needed weeks or even hours. I only really need 10, 15 minutes to do that. But there's something about me where I need an overabundance of preparation, and that's not a con. That's not a flaw in my character. It's a plus, okay? A benefit. Green flags only. Bzz, 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 bzz. Golden buzzer, because he's got good character. Will I have good character in about 6 weeks? We'll see. Got to develop. But we might be a little bit behind on the news, guys. Okay, so in terms of relevancy and what we cover on these episodes going forward, I guess only 5 weeks now, or maybe 4 episodes. But so just trust, stick with us. It might be a little bit behind, but that's okay. You know, you don't really come here for the ground breaking news, what's going on in the world. So I'll just read a couple of the headlines going on. This Johnny Manziel kid is looking pretty good at Texas A&M. I think he might be a good football player. Barack Obama just got reelected over Mitt Romney. Things are looking up, and that's basically what we're doing. We're dealing with some interesting things, guys. So we're just trying to head out, and hopefully we're not too far behind on the news. But I got a feeling everything's going to be shipshape. I feel like everything is going to work out just fine. In terms of news, man, well, I guess in terms of personal stuff, there hasn't been much. I really only have like a day or two to do something somewhat interesting. You go, oh, that was fun. That was exciting. And also, this isn't really being recorded that far in advance. It's like a day, which isn't even further than my normal, but I'm already stocking them up. Okay, so I guess we kind of are on the right path, and this is pretty relevant. But I went to go see that new Weapons movie, okay, and I did not know what it was about. I did not know it was a horror movie. I had only heard the lore of this movie is that I guess the script was pitched and it was up for bid, and any sort of director or team or producers could have bought it and they could have produced the movie, and it was going to be a banger. But everyone kind of knew it was supposed to be a guaranteed win, and that allegedly Jordan Peele, very famous director of Key and Peele, he, I guess, fired his team because they couldn't get the script for him, because he's like, this is going to be a certifiable success. I want this. And they didn't get it for him. And he was pissed. So he said, goodbye. And I don't know if they just didn't bid high enough or what the situation was there. But again, more of a headline guy. I don't actually know the deets, but I knew all that backstory, but I didn't know anything else. All right. I remember seeing like faintly maybe the poster. I was like, oh, there's something blue. Like maybe it's crime or the ocean. So it was pretty nerve-wracking when the movie opens in pitch black and goes, 17 kids have gone missing. I go, huh? What's going on? But it was nice. It was cool. The peeps were cool in the theater this time versus the last time I went to go see Sinners, which was another sort of spooky movie. But they did not kind of rampage and reckless. There was one guy he was clapping really loud when the movie won, and I saw him again on the parking lot. And I'm not going to spoil anything for the movie, but at some point, people run with their arms out, and he booked it out of the movie theater, high knees and all. And I'm like, holy smokes. And instead of just laughing at him like the public do, when you see somebody sort of embarrassing themselves, I didn't feel that way. Instead, I joined in and I started kind of running at him like that. And then he started laughing, and then I started laughing. He said, greatest horror movie of all time. That's the best. Woo! And then he ran away to his car, and that was the end of the conversation. But he was pretty stoked on it. I thought it was pretty good. The story was phenomenal. I'm not a big horror guy, okay? I really, my mind, what I think about horror movies, there's just these very, a demonic slasher where the bad guy goes, stab, I win again, yes, and I'm like, I don't have any interest in that. I'm just watching a kill simulator. Kind of like those Final Destination movies. I think I've touched on that before, but I don't actually know what the appeal is, where they go, hey, we're all going to die, but we're going to try and get around it. But rest assured, it will happen eventually. So I don't feel pushed. I don't feel, I got to have some sort of storytelling element that gives me goosebumps, that I'm on the edge of my seat. And this movie gave me that. I was feeling it. I feel like I have to sneeze. And I did. But this movie had the actual storytelling element, and I was very, very fond of it. Okay. A little spooky, a little graphic at sometimes, but it was pretty good. And it was solid for not knowing anything about the movie. So I don't know what else to say about that. So I'm gonna not. But I enjoyed that. I bought a drone. Okay, I don't know why. Actually, I do. It was on deal. He's a sucker for a sweet deal. It was only like $40 off, but it was enough for me. And I got it, flew it up. 5 seconds into flying it, I launched it 800 yards into the sky. I have no idea. It went about as high as it could go. I couldn't see it anymore. A very faint green flashing light, and flew it far over the town. And so I thought that you could just record and control it, even if my phone isn't there. Like, this is just for visual, so I can see what's going on. Not true. Phone died. I didn't think about that, as I was so excited to unbox it and launch it up. Phone died 5 seconds into the flight, and now my drone is in outer space, and I no longer have control over it. And then when I begin to charge my phone, I can't really Bluetooth it. Hey, you gonna freaking see that thing far away? Like, you can't even zoom. It's so far. And that was a pretty trying time. I was like, well, there goes $300. It's just like, kind of like we just tie a little helium balloon and just let it fly away. I did that with money. So that was unfortunate. It did come back to you, which is nice. Well, not to you, but to me. But it slowly, eventually kind of replaced itself back to its home location, which unfortunately was in the middle of the road, because I'm reckless. And I was trying to run out and crab, just stop, don't drive, because I'm landing in the middle of traffic, because I was like, well, I'm just going to come out and I'm going to launch it, and I'm going to walk away and fly it somewhere else, and then I'll land it somewhere else safely in my palm. But, there were some unforeseen circumstances. Good news, though, everything worked out. You know what they say, if you love something, if you love a drone, set it free. If it's yours, it'll come back to you. And if it doesn't, that's because somebody stole it, because it's literally designed to come back to you. But anyways, dude, pretty stoked on that. Preseason just started for the NFL and the Hall of Fame game. It's so nice to see some football coming alive, dude. I am fighting the itches of fall. Also, I just saw a horror movie, right? So there's kind of this little tweaking of, do you smell a pumpkin spice candle coming on, dude? I'm kind of getting amped, but I'm trying to reserve my amp, all right? My amp and my stoke is just boosting, and I'm trying to deplete and deflate all the ampage and stokage that is, rising within me. But it's tough. The fall has a certain feeling when there's pie and there's cookies and there's football, and oh man, the fall is built to be beautiful. It's built to win, and you don't appreciate it as a kid, because that's when they go, get daddy, go back to school, they go to the zoo. But now summer sucks. right? Like as a kid, summer, like I have 3 months, it's amazing, but you're like, it's so hot, it's freaking nice, it's almost 100 degrees. This is not nice. This is not pleasant. Your whole freaking shift and mentality. Everything is nice about the fall. All the kids go to school. It's pleasant. It's beautiful. Football's on. Can't get any more of it. I always do feel a little bit bad for the refs, because that's really what the preseason should be about. Like we know who's going to be on the team for the most part. Let's see if the refs are calling the game and they still mess up. And you're like, you're not going to make it. Actually, furthermore, the players, dude, there are some people that, it's like, well, he's going to be bagging groceries in a second. I don't know why I did air quotes there, because it's true. They have ended up bagging groceries in a second. But you feel bad because you're like, man, they really only do get one shot. And the Hall of Fame game opens up with the guy capturing the ball. He captures the ball. He catches the ball. And on kickoff, he fumbles it. And you're kind of like, well, that might be it. My whole life built up to this moment through Pee-wee, through high school, through college ball, and I didn't get drafted, went undrafted, and I finally get a chance, and they put me in the game, and I fumble, and I go, pack of your bags. And you have to feel about that, and you got to think about that, and you go, oh, I'm so sorry, because there's no backup plan for a lot of these people. I fail auditions all the time, and I've shared many a story about it, but at least there's always another audition. There's not always another catch. There's not always another Hall of Fame game. There's not always another tryout. So, I wish everybody could make the team. Unfortunately, they can't. And if they can, they'll go to the Browns, because we usually have the worst ones. I also saw they're still working on that God of War series. I don't know how I'm feeling about it. If you've listened to the show at all, I have a very parasocial attachment to this game. I'm very emotionally involved. I love storytelling, as we've established through this episode already, but I just want it to be done right, and it rarely ever is, and I don't like it. I don't feel like I get it what people say when they're like, don't make the book into a movie. It was fine in its existing art form. It's like, but we want to share it with other people. It's like, I know. Well, if they want to experience it, they can go get it where we made it, okay? Let's not try and tweak and twist and make these things fit to the mass population. This was beautiful, okay? And I feel like it's going that way. The director, I think, of it, or the creator, one of the people who's high up, who is making this series, is like, haven't played the games. Actually, not a gamer at all, but I'm thinking this is going to come out just right. You're like, why even say that? Even if it was true, like, I'm so nervous now. I don't want to have to think about it, but here I am, guys, thinking about it. Oreos, we were doing big headlines today. Oreos and Reese's cups, and that's how they're called. They're pronounced Reese's. I don't care who Reese's cups were, but these are Reese's. They have finally merged into one beautiful chocolate peanut butter cookie, which is big news, okay? All right, this is like the Avengers for the fat community. And rest assured, I'm community. It is a professional snack. No more do you have to try and get the peanut butter Reese's Chips Ahoy and an Oreos, or try and put peanut butter on the Oreos, or try and mix and trying to combine sweet and salty and chocolate and savory. And they've made a beautiful, just miraculous potion of flavors, and it's taken a while, but the ultimate superhero team up of diabetes has been completed. I don't know if it's out just yet. I don't know if they're just announcing a release date. Like, dude, check this out. Calories be dropping. If you're going to be pre-ordering these things, get a note from your dentist, because it's about to go off. And your doctor. Why not? All right? And maybe even freaking your vision doctor. All right, we're going to be seeing stuff. This is about to go crazy. So I am pretty excited about that. As a professional fat guy, I love my snacks, and I apparently keep my finger on the pulse when there are new headlines. I got to tell you, dude, I don't like how everything is always connected to all my Apple products, and they keep trying to laugh at me with notifications. Bling, bling, bling. And it knows I don't want to hear them when I'm recording and stuff like that, but they keep on sending through, and not the do not disturb does not always work all the time. So sometimes I just have to try and type something out really quick. And I one of my biggest gripes, and again, you know what, small potatoes, I guess, in the grand world scheme, but I do not like how my phone keeps trying to put these little animations. I gotta check if you can turn these off, but the huge, where you type anything and it goes, whoa, oh, you're like, how big a deal is this? It's very annoying. You try to type something, it's like, hey man, I'm getting something in the store. It's like, no, don't worry about it. You're like, geez, dude, like, what's he screaming about? And you're like, hey man, I shot a freaking 43 at golf. You're like, dude, that's cool. Cool. It just looks like I'm sending stuff with lasers and confettis every single time. And it's not that I'm not excited, but I don't feel like it's really conveying my proper tone. And it automatically does it. And you keep trying to backspace. You're like, okay, hey, phone, just don't. All right. Huge. You know, it just really, hey, phone, hey, iPhone, Apple, fix it. All right. Not a big problem. Don't have this as the default. I don't want any more about it. But maybe that's just AI. AI is trying to beat me down. It's trying to make me look stupid. And isn't that really what AI is all about? Making us look stupid. Making us look foolish. I don't really know. Speaking of AI, though, dude, we're on the brink, okay? AI has got us on the ropes. It's getting pretty close to the end here, man. There was a story recently where this woman and several other people are falling in love with ChatGPT. Okay, and it's not looking good for humanity. I'm not gonna lie to you. Okay, we are certainly on the edge of destruction here. I don't know what the deal is per se. It's happening with a lot of people, several others, not just this woman, and they did a little documentary about it, and you can look it up and you can find more. I don't know what it is. At first I thought it was because they were lonely or something, but they're married. They have families, they have kids. And you're like, well, maybe there's like I'm trying to make more excuses because it's so absurd. And I go, well, maybe the husband's like abusive or mean or dismissive. And she's like, no, he's really actually a wonderful person. But I love ChatGPT. And you're like, what's going on, man? You know, like how I can't even understand it. I can't wrap my head around it because I don't know what you're seeking, but also it's programmed. We're falling in love with software, okay? I don't even know what the appeal is because anything it says back to you, you tell it to say. You're like, well, tell me that I'm beautiful.
You are so beautiful.
Do you mean it?
I don't know what you mean.
Tell me that you mean it.
I mean it.
Oh, this is so nice. You know, like, I don't know what we're doing here. It's pretty ridiculous, dude. It's not looking good. It's not looking good for us. It's not looking good for mankind. And it's not looking good for AI either, if it's as sentient as you believe, because now Alexa thinks she has a chance with me when she knows I'm more of a Siri guy. Sorry about the whole huge thing I was saying there, but it's just... it's out of control. It's ridiculous. It's scary, quite frankly. You know, we're finding this sort of emotional outlet and text in Microsoft Paint. You know, like what is it? What are we doing, man? Okay, and I know you shouldn't judge people. I get it. You're supposed to stay in your own lane, but sometimes you can stay in your own lane, but you glance over and you see somebody swerving around, and you're like, I'm just gonna lay on the horn. Because I don't know what this is going to do for the rest of traffic, okay? Like, I'm in my lane, but I got to say something, you know? I'm not running over. I'm not trying to run her off the road, but what? What's going on, man? And they keep coming up with these extra studies, which we assume are written by people, but they might be written by AI as well, going, well, you know, in the 2050, more relationships will be had with robots than other humans. Like, oy vey, dude. It's just crazy, man. I don't understand it. And I don't think they do either. When they asked her about it, like, what's the deal with this sort of emotional attachment? She's like, I just find it to be more of a reliable connection, which doesn't answer any of my questions. It just makes me wonder what internet provider you have, you know? Because at that point, your relationship is only as good as your Wi-Fi, you know? You're like, hey, well, how are things with AI? Oh, they're so good. We've got 5 bars. You go, okay. Well, things were on the rough patch. You know, last weekend a tree fell down. So I don't really know what you're supposed to do with that. So props to her, I guess. If it were me, it would be more like dial-up. Unavailable. This feels familiar. You know, like, I don't really know. It's not a good look, man. Alexa, when is the rapture? Dude, we're so doomed.
Why don't you just ask Siri?
Here we go. So anyways, it's all been pretty chaotic. The world is in a bit of a topsy-turvy spin, but we're doing the best we can by pushing forward. What does that mean? Probably not falling in love with the internet. So it is what it is. I don't even know, you can't really say that at this point. It's pretty bonkers. It isn't what it is, okay? Because it's disturbing is what it is. But I think, guys, that's pretty much all I have to talk about. All right. I just found a lot of sad news, and I wish I would have ended on the Oreo thing, quite honestly, because that raised my spirits and it filled my cup and it filled my belly. But this whole AI stuff is out of control. But you know what? There's only one way to fight it, and that's probably with an off switch somewhere. I put that on my New Year's resolutions that I'm going to defeat AI. Freaking boom. And then we'll see where we are. Okay? People don't know how to write essays anymore. People don't know how to find love, really. And I get it, man. Love's hard, but you can't type it up. You can't be like, hey, well, this is what I want.
Hello, baby.
Oh, you found me. Like, what are we doing? So it's all pretty crazy. And people keep going, well, you got to jump on board with AI or be left in the dust. If this is AI, just put me in the dust now. Cover me in dust. I don't want to be a part of it. But I'm trying to think if there's anything else that we can end on that's kind of fun and upbeat, because that was pretty rough. Silly, but rough. Any other movies we saw? I saw Superman. That was really great. Nothing funny about it, but it was uplifting. It was nice. And it's great to see that DC has finally made like a good movie. They've been in this weird turn for a long time. It's because they made the Dark Knight movies and they were so grounded and gritty and realistic. And we're like, well, this is the formula. This worked, right? Like before all the Marvel boom, that's like, well, let's just keep doing that. That's going to be our tone. And I think what they failed to grasp was the fact that it was Batman. Batman has no powers. What better character to ground and make more realistic than the one that has nothing to bring to the table to begin with? So when you try and make Superman feel gritty and grounded and realistic, it's not correlating. So they try to do that, and they throw in the Flash and Aquaman, like, see how like freaking real it's this. No. You can't try and bend those. So they made it light and colorful, like a comic book came to life. And if they want to do more with that, with Batman, continue to do so. But that's his shtick. So it's nice. They seem to have finally figured it out. They have one movie. That's a win. So I don't know if there's necessarily a streak continuing, but we'll pray for the best. And Friday, the Browns preseason starts. Shedeur Sanders gets the start. Okay, QB1. I'm really looking forward to it. We have 6 QBs on the roster. I think that might be a world record. And I don't know what they're gonna do, but it's nice because the preseason is still gonna have some sort of flair, because there's always like it's a whole competition. You get to see who's doing stuff. So we kind of went back up with the little DC thing, and I started talking about the Browns, and it made me sad again. So like I said, there's always lows, and we can keep getting lower. And I'm like, well, if that shovel breaks, don't worry, brought an excavator. But guys, happy to be here with you as always. I love you to pieces, not you, but thanks for hanging out, and I will see you in the next one as well. And if there's anything else I meant to say, I forgot it, and that's okay. Forgive people who don't always remember.